The story kicks off on a battlefield where the protagonist stands face to face with what seems like the final boss, a figure called Horn, wielding a massive sword. Horn declares that God is dead, that humanity now worships money, and references the rise of arcane engineering. But, he says, in the end, all that pursuit only turned people into slaves of monsters. Shaking and clutching his sword, the protagonist demands to know how any of this is fair. As Horn draws his weapon, the protagonist, overwhelmed and desperate, charges forward, screaming that none of it makes sense. An explosion rips across the battlefield, engulfing the entire city. This, we're told, is from Arcane Sue, widely considered the best modern apocalypse game ever made. Flash to the present. Kim Jun-soo, 22 years old, stares bitterly at his phone screen. He's just lost again in Arcane Sue and calls the game a disgrace. He complains aloud about how unfair it is, how a poor guy like him, who refuses to spend money, is supposed to win against rich players. A guy next to him says Jun-soo actually did pretty well for a free-to-play player, but of course, even on autoplay, his own, paid, character crushed him. Laughing, he finishes by saying, "You actually did okay, for someone who doesn't pay." Fuming, Jun-soo storms down the street, raging at the heavens. How, after sinking over 10,000 hours into this game, can he still lose to anyone willing to drop a little cash? He realizes Arcane Sue isn't a real game. It's just a casino with pretty characters. And yet, despite the anger, he can't resist. Like a true addict, he decides to do his daily free pull, just to see if maybe today will be different. And today is different. A platinum chest appears on his screen, glowing with an aura he's never seen before. Instantly, he knows he's pulled the SSR Celestial Demon, the rarest, most expensive character in the entire game. The odds of getting it for free? 0.00006%. In other words, basically impossible. Like winning the lottery. Overcome with excitement, Jun-soo throws himself into upgrading the Celestial Demon, sacrificing every free character he has to power it up. Luckily, with 10,000 hours of experience, he knows exactly what to do. No more getting steamrolled by the pay-to-win whales. This time, he's going to crush them. As he fuses all his characters into the Celestial Demon, he tosses his phone in the air, saying goodbye to his old character, Warrior Kim, named after himself, a real stroke of naming genius. But just as he celebrates, something strange happens. From the corner of his eye, he senses something off. This moment feels oddly familiar, like a scene he's read or dreamt about before. The next thing he knows, he's waking up, not in his room, but in a hospital bed. Groggy and disoriented, he tries to sit up. His whole body aches. Then he remembers the truck. He dodged, sort of, but it still hit him. As he struggles to make sense of everything, a nurse walks in and, with a cheerful smile, calls him Warrior Kim. She says she'll go get the doctor. Confused, Jun-soo checks his hospital file, and sure enough, it reads Warrior Kim. Is the staff insane? Are they fans of Arcane Sue messing with him? After all, he did spend 10,000 hours grinding away with the character Warrior Kim. Wouldn't it be the ultimate cosmic joke if he somehow became Warrior Kim for real? Trying to stand up only confirms that this isn't a dream. Real pain shoots through his body the second his foot touches the ground. A refreshing change from stories where protagonists just hop out of bed after being hit by trucks. The nurse rushes to stop him, scolding him for trying to move too soon. Shortly after, a doctor arrives. He tells Warrior Kim that considering he was hit by a truck, he's healing surprisingly well. But before he can leave, he'll need to undergo a magical vision test. Kim Jun-soo is left blinking, dazed, wondering, what the hell do they mean by magic? And why is everyone calling him Warrior Kim? A little later, at the hospital's front desk, someone pulls out a calculator and casually tells him that, with all the expenses added up, his bill comes to just $22 million. Kim Jun-soo freezes on the spot. Why am I paying U.S. hospital prices? The doctor just smiles and completely ignores the question, calmly explaining that without insurance, of course, he'll have to cover everything out of pocket. Desperately, Jun-soo protests that he's a citizen who pays his taxes on time. He should be covered under Korea's national health insurance. But the receptionist just looks at him, confused. In the land of the orange guy, she says there's no public health care. Instead, she asks if he has private insurance from the Legion or the Magic Tower. Every word just confuses him more. Legion? Magic Tower? And then it hits him. These names sound way too familiar. Magic Legion, Mega Corporation, Magic Tower, Sacred Order. The four major factions that ruled the world of Arcane Sue. The game he'd spent 10,000 hours mastering. A world where the gods had abandoned humanity. Arcane technology exploded in advancement. The earth was overrun by monsters, and humans had to modify themselves just to survive. That's when finally clicks. He's not just dreaming. He's inside Arcane Sue. Worse, he's been thrown into this brutal, dying world in a wrecked body with no money and no preparation. Walking through the dirty streets near the hospital, he mutters bitterly, "This is so unfair." He had just won the rarest character, the Celestial Demon, and for one moment thought his luck had finally turned, only to end up as some tutorial stage nobody. Maybe this was divine punishment for abandoning all his old Warrior Kim characters during the fusion process. When he finally gets to his assigned room, he's hit with another shock. It's a cramped cubicle, even smaller than the one he lived in back home. He flops onto the bed, groaning. Why the hell is this Warrior Kim so damn poor? His situation couldn't be worse. His body is trashed. He has no cash. And he's stuck as a literal tutorial character in the most brutal world imaginable. At least he knows Arcane Sue inside and out. The only problem is, very soon, nuclear wars will erupt, dimensional cracks will tear the world apart, ancient gods will invade, and everything will turn into a living nightmare. If he sits around doing nothing, he's dead. But then, like a true madman, he has a wild idea. Grabbing a pen, he grins to himself. Better to find out now than regret it later. Without hesitation, he stabs his own hand. The pain is immediate. He howls in agony. But then, the wound disappears. He bursts out laughing, ecstatic. I knew it. A notification pops up. New trait acquired. Wound recovery. This was it. This was the secret to Warrior Kim. In the game, Warrior Kim started out as the only character with no base traits. But if you work hard enough, you could earn any attribute manually. That was how Jun-soo had become one of the game's top players without ever spending money. 10,000 hours of grinding, improvising, and strategizing. Now that he's become Warrior Kim himself, he has the same advantage. He already healed from the accident. He can earn any trait he wants through sheer effort. He just needs to work his ass off. And he has no time to waste because in Arcane Sue, whether you're poor, unlucky, or cowardly, you die. Back at the start of the game, his ranking had been something pathetic, 100,689th place. But after years of relentless grinding, he had climbed all the way to rank 9, becoming one of the absolute top players, without spending a single cent. And he did it all using Warrior Kim.